This is a demonstration of Wirecast. 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 This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Attention everyone, please we may take a seat.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Let us take our seats. Thank you. Thank you. Absheni Sanbonani, good morning, Kuyamore. Welcome to the Constitutional Court of South Africa. The court is about to start now. Please make sure your cell phone is off. Please make sure your cell phone
This
is
is a
off.
demonstration of Wirecast.
Thank you.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast. This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
I call the matter of economic freedom fighters and the Speaker of the National Assembly and others, and Democratic Alliance and the Speaker of the National Assembly and others for hearing.
May it please the Chief Justice, members of the Court, my learned friends, Mr. McCarthy, Mr. Luca Toby, Mr. Mitchell, and I appear for the economic freedom fight.
Thank you, Mr. Trengove.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Thank you, Mr. Katz.
Chief Justice and Justices of the Court, I'm here for the Speaker of the National Assembly, together with my learned friend, Mr. Nangisa and Mr. Sangiwa.
Thank you, Ms. Ngozi Thomas.
May it please the Court, Chief Justice, I appear with my learned friends, Mr. Kemp, Mr. Duplessis, Ms. Mahabir, Ms. Butterfin-Jones.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Thank you, Mr. Gondlet.
Chief Justice, Honorable Chief Justice, I appear for the Minister together with my learned juniors, Ms. Dingas and Ms. Hart.
Thank you, Mr. Mukari.
Chief Justice, members of the Court, my learned friend, Mr. Stubbs, and I appear for the Public Secretary and both.
Thank you, too, Mr. Marcus.
Chief Justice, members of the Court, I'm here with my learned friend, Mr. Kelly, for Corruption Watch. And
This is a demonstration
Ms.
of
Stander.
Wirecast.
Mr. Trengove. As I said, and maybe also as a reminder to my colleagues and I, because it's a fairly new development, all of you except Mr. Katz at his request will, depending on the time allocated to them,
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Because quite unexpectedly, there is still some debate as to what she actually found. I will secondly address the status of her orders and will submit that they have the status of
This is a
binding
demonstration
administrative
of
orders.
Wirecast.
In the third place, address the conduct of the President, who defied the Public Protector, and we shall submit in violation of his duties under the Constitution. In the fourth place, the conduct of the National Assembly, who played along with the President and protected him in violation of its duty to call him to account under the Constitution. In the fifth place, I will submit that this matter falls
This
within
is
this
a
Court's
demonstration of
exclusive jurisdiction.
Wirecast.
And in the last place, in the alternative, if it does not, that then we will submit that it would be appropriate for this Court, in the interest of justice, to allow the EFF direct access to this Court. May I start then with the findings of the Public Protector, because it appears that there is still debate about what it is that she actually found. And if I may ask you in this regard to go to the extract
This
from
is a
her report
demonstration of
in
Wirecast.
the EFF papers at page 116.
Mr. If you could just give us the paragraph number with the Chief Justice's permission.
The findings start at paragraph 10. The particular findings that I will refer to come later. It
This
is
is a
the
demonstration of
the internal
Wirecast.
page 427 of the report, where the findings start. The findings upon which I wish to lay emphasis firstly come at the internal page 429, paragraphs 10.3.1 and 10.3.2, where the public protector found that certain of the measures taken by the department at the Nkandla residence were not required
This is
by
a
the
demonstration of
President's
Wirecast.
security requirements and were unlawful. And those measures are listed in paragraph 10.3.2. There are 8 of them in all, and I won't recite them. It's important, though, to make the point that there is a finding that those measures were both unnecessary and unlawful. The next finding comes at page 431 in paragraph 10.5.3, where the
This
public
is a
protector held
demonstration
that
of
the president and
Wirecast.
his family improperly benefited from certain of those measures, that's certain of the 9, and then she lists 5 of the 9 measures from which she said the president improperly benefited, and they are there listed. So there is, her report does not leave that matter open for debate. Then at internal page 437, paragraphs
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
10.9.1.4 and 10.9.1.5. She says in the first place that it's her view that the President tacitly accepted the implementation of all the measures and unduly benefited from the enormous capital investment from the non-security installations. And the next paragraph, it is also my considered view that the amount in question should be based on the cost of the installation of some or all of the items
This
that can
is a
be
demonstration of Wirecast.
conscionably accepted as security measures, that can't be conscionably accepted as security measures, and then she lists again the 5 items. This paragraph later translates into a particular order that she makes. If I may then go to page 439, where she deals in 3 paragraphs, 10.10.1.4, 5, and 6, with the President's
This
conduct
is a demonstration of
in
Wirecast.
violation of the ethics code prescribed under the Constitution, and concludes in paragraph 10.10.1.6 as follows. His failure to act in protection of state resources constitutes a violation of paragraph 2 of the Executive Ethics Code and accordingly amounts to conduct that is inconsistent with his office as member of the Cabinet as contemplated by section 96 of the Constitution.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
And then lastly, the orders she makes are at page 442 in paragraph 11.1. It says remedial action to be taken in terms of section 182(1)(c) of the Constitution is the following. The President is to, and then follows in 4 subparagraphs steps that the President is required to take. And we shall submit with respect that there's no doubt
This is a
that
demonstration of
the
Wirecast.
language used makes it clear that those are matters that the President must take. They weren't mere recommendations. So much for the actual findings. If I may turn then to the status of the orders she makes. In other words, the status of the 4 orders in paragraph 10.1. Now, I will deal briefly with this issue because it is one that
This
some of
is a
my learned friends
demonstration
will
of
deal with
Wirecast.
again and in greater depth. But we are concerned with the proper interpretation of section 182(1)(c) of the Constitution that provides that the public protector has the power to take appropriate remedial action. Our submission is that that power includes the power to make binding administrative orders. In this
This is a
regard, we commend
demonstration of
firstly
Wirecast.
the judgment of the Supreme Court of Appeal in the SABC case, and in particular, the court deals with this issue in paragraphs 43 to 53, but we commend in particular its ratio in paragraphs 52 and 53 of its judgment, where it really makes the point, heart of the point is this, that the Constitution intends the public protector to take
This
appropriate
is a
remedial
demonstration
action,
of
which means
Wirecast.
intend the public protector to have the power herself to take appropriate remedial action, and for that action to be effective, because it can't be appropriate if not effective, and therefore that she has the power to issue binding orders. We submit with respect that, apart from the SCA judgment, that we also commend the heads of argument of Corruption Watch, which is devoted to this issue, and we, with
This is a
respect,
demonstration of Wirecast.
join in the submissions that they make. We submit that one of the most crucial features of this power is not only its language, but the shift of language from the interim constitution to the final constitution in the formulation of the public protector's powers. Under the interim constitution, she was given the power in section 112(1)(b), and I quote, to endeavor to resolve
This is a
any dispute
demonstration
or
of
rectify
Wirecast.
any act or omission. A very soft power of mediation and conciliation. That language was changed in the final constitution, quote, to take appropriate remedial action. And one has to take seriously that deliberate choice of language and the change of language, which can only mean, firstly, that she is given the power to take remedial action herself, not merely to recommend to other
This
people
is a
to do
demonstration
so.
of Wirecast.
And secondly, that the remedy she is entitled to employ must be an appropriate one. And this court has repeatedly held from Fosey on, in the Fosey line of cases, that appropriate relief means effective relief. We submit that the same goes for this power. You might think that that leaves her with unduly wide powers, but let me say that there are two very significant limitations on that power.
This is a
The first
demonstration
is
of
that
Wirecast.
the issue of an administrative order would constitute administrative action and therefore be subject to control under the Promotion of Administrative Justice Act, which is a significant control both in the manner of decision-making and on the reasonableness of the decision, of the outcome itself. Secondly, the Section 182(1) prefaces this power, as it does with all her powers,
This is a
to say that it
demonstration
may
of
be regulated
Wirecast.
by national legislation. Now, the current Act predates the final Constitution on this score. It was not amended to take account of this change in the constitutional powers conferred on the public protector. But it would remain open to Parliament to regulate the public protectors, the exercise of this power, in a very significant way. We know of all the jurisprudence that says that the power to regulate is a very wide power, and it stops short only
This is a
of
demonstration
total
of
prohibition.
Wirecast.
But it is open to Parliament significantly to regulate the exercise of this power. So an objection that the outcome, the remedy, the interpretation for which we contend is unduly wide is with respect unfounded, because there are these two very significant sets of control over the exercise of her powers. May I turn then in the third place to the conduct of the President, because
This is a demonstration
we
of
submit that the
Wirecast.
President defied the public protector's order